Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Lisa and I'm also known as Job Coach Germany. And I wish you a warm welcome. And today I have a very special guest for you. And I'm about to interview someone for you that's to your all's benefit. She's a financial coach and advisor who can help you with all sorts of your questions regarding the topics of, for example, bank accounts, insurances, and company benefits, and obviously financial investments. And guess what? She's especially fond of everyone that is from outside of Germany. So expats, or should I even say inpats? And yeah, here is a warm welcome to Kerstin Brunner. Hi, Kerstin.
Hi, Lisa. How are you today?
I am fine. Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm fine. It's a pleasure for me to be here today. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to talk about my daily business and my passion.
Oh, it's such a pleasure for me as well that I'm able to interview you and that you take the time to help our both communities, because this is actually how we both found out that it would be very beneficial for us to work together and have a collaboration, because I remember that we both met through a LinkedIn Impats group, right? And then you commented on one of my posts, and then I found out, oh, maybe we should get talking, because your topic and my topic is really, really helpful for our both communities. And that's what we're about to do today. So yeah, we basically quickly found out that it's really, really helpful for you guys to just give you an overview and touch on some of the points that Kerstin is working with on a daily basis. So I asked my community and with a poll to find out what is most interesting to you. So whether you're interested in bank accounts or whether you want to learn more about insurances or company benefits, etc. But before we dive right into the topic, let's start at the beginning. Dear Kerstin, what's your background? Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, sure. So at the beginning of my career, I studied computer science and mechatronics, and I worked as support engineer, went on as sales engineer, and later as sales representative for an American Australian company. And I very much like to build up long-term relationships based on trust, but this is not the biggest point if you are selling software. So I started a few years ago as a financial coach and as a financial coach and advisor, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But this sounds like a really vast and diverse career, like a very, very interesting path that you have done. And it makes sense that you're working with Impats because you have this connection to international people. And in your career life, you've already touched on working with people from all over the world. That is so interesting. Do you have a special reason why you are working with Impats?
Yes, so for me, it comes naturally because from my sales position, I know a lot of engineers in international companies.
Yeah.
So I bring together my knowledge in all the financial and insurance topics, as well as my English skills. And a big benefit for me is to know what is important for engineers regarding their career steps, earning money, and build up a financial asset. And the second benefit is to communicate in every field directly in English. As background knowledge, here in Germany, it is very hard to find a financial advisor with a holistic approach covering all the different topics around finances, insurances, and banking, which affect each other.
Yeah, that's so true. I can totally agree to that, because I mean, I am German and I know how complex our system is, but coming from abroad and then living in Germany or trying to start a life in Germany, it's kind of overwhelming. And that you can advise people in all of these fields holistically is really, really important in my eyes. So, Kerstin, what would you say to an expat who's asking how Germany actually works?
So in general, you need to talk with different person if it comes to questions regarding your bank account, your insurances, your investments or company benefits. Going the holistic way means to have one person who you trust and who will be at your side as an expert for all your questions. And remember, in Germany, most contracts and explanations are written in German. Means you need a trustworthy person because he or she will be your guide.
So dive more into the details with regards to the bank account and the credit card. So basically, where can people get a credit card or a bank account? How does that work?
So I recommend to have a look at the webpage of the bank. There it is visible if the bank provides the service in English and what kind of fees the services cost. Let's split it into two parts. So first one, the bank account. It may be a small amount to pay monthly for the bank account. Some bank accounts are for free, but mostly it is attached to the condition that the monthly income will go on this account. Second part are the debit and the credit cards. The debit card uses the system of debit the money in the next 2 to 3 days to the bank account. Mostly debit cards are coming for free with a bank account at the same bank. Credit cards here in Germany are different to the US credit cards. The money will be charged to the bank account after a period of 4 weeks. So they are more similar to debit cards. Credit cards can be free of charge, but mostly there is a basic fee which can be reduced the more money you send on the card. I will say it's an inverse pay by use model.
Okay. Wow, that is really that's really a lot of fees that people need to keep in mind. And I'm pretty sure that some of you who are watching this video are not aware of the extent to how many fees might there be. But from my own experience, it's always possible to change the banks as well, and also to find out, okay, what is the best version for me now? Because when I think about, for example, my grandma, she is not so much into online banking, for example, but rather would have someone that she can talk to. But if you have an advisor at the bank again, then obviously you have to pay more because you're then paying for the people again. Yeah. Okay. So this is really, really interesting. And so moving on to the next topic, I would like to ask you about the private liability insurance. I'm sure that people need to know about that. So why do we need it?
Yeah, so I like to use the picture of an umbrella. To keep you dry and secure from rain, you use an umbrella. And it's the same with insurances. You pay a small amount of your income for a coverage of a use hazard. Insurances itself are not good for small damages. They especially cover mid and huge hazards and keep your money safe because in some cases, a damage will cost you a lot of money. For example, you have an accident and hit a person. The person needs to go to the hospital, and in this case, the insured person is not able to work. In the worst case, this person is not able to work anymore for a longer period, and you have to pay for these points too. Which types of bills will reach you? First, the personal injury compensation of the person itself. Second, for the cost in hospital. And third, compensation for the loss of salary. This is why you should know more about insurances. The example I gave you is for liability insurance. And as you can see, private liability insurance is a very important protection.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, first of all, I really love the idea about the umbrella. That is a really cool picture. But then all of these different aspects of an accident, for example, that you have to keep in mind when and all of the costs that are involved, this really sounds that it's a must-have. Is a private liability insurance in your eyes a must-have?
It is definitely a must-have here in Germany, yes.
Yeah. And where can people sign up for it? Through the employer, for example, or do they have to take care of it on their own?
Liability insurance is a private insurance, and so you have to take care by yourself. I recommend to have a deeper look into the contract details. So, for example, what is the period of validation, the total amount insured? Is it a single or family contract? And an advisor like me can pretty help you.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. That's where we get back to the holistic approach, that you can talk to Kerstin if you are thinking of getting your liability insurance. Okay, so this is one part of the insurances. Now, talking about insurances in general, should we maybe take a look at the health insurances? Because a lot of you guys have ticked that when I had the poll and asked you what is interesting to you. Yeah, so I know that many of you who are watching that are very impressed of how well we are actually covered here in Germany. But let's hear it from a specialist, what you need to be aware of when it comes to health insurances.
So health insurance is mandatory here in Germany. It is a huge and complex area, and I try to keep it short and simple. So from the beginning, everyone has to be health insured in Germany. And we do have two systems. One is the public system and one is the private system. In the public system, everyone is insured except people who are qualified to be insured in the private system. Let's talk about the public system first. You will get health insurance benefits for medical, dental, and hospital treatments, vaccination, medication, remedies, medical aids, and medical checkups. For most of the benefits, extra payment is needed. It's 5 to 10 euros each. What are the monthly costs for a public health insurance? The costs are calculated based on monthly income. So it is 14.6% from gross income, plus about 4.5 point other contributions. Some facts about the private system. Some people are qualified to switch into the private health insurance system. It depends on your income, your work status, so if you're an employee or self-employed, and health status to qualify for a health insurance contract. The costs are calculated based on your age, your state of health, and services you prefer. It's like, for example, a private bedroom in hospital. And it is a private contract that's concluded with a company. So please keep in mind that it is necessary to answer health questions if you are interested to switch into the private system. The good news is, if you are an employee, your company will pay roughly 50% of your health insurance, no matter if you are in the public or in the private system. And I think for the moment, this is enough information, but based on this couple of information, you can see that it is advisable to work hand in hand with an expert, and I strongly recommend this.
Yes, I think so too. Well, thank you very much for explaining this system to us, or to the viewers as well. I guess there's a lot of new information that you guys who are watching need to digest. And if you have any questions, you can obviously always approach Kerstin, and then she's definitely very happy to help you out, because everyone that is in Germany right now and everybody that is thinking of coming to Germany will have to think about that, because as Kerstin said, it's an insurance that we have to have by law in Germany. So there's no way around that. And you want to make sure, because you have to have it, you want to make sure that you get the right coverage that you need. Yeah. And to get, basically the best contract for you and your family. Okay. So thank you very much for this wrap up. And to complete the topic of insurances, there is one insurance that many people in Germany are not aware of, and that's the accident insurance, right? So Kerstin, what is that about?
So if you are an employee, a student, a kid at school or kindergarten, you are automatically accident insured at the way to work, and home and on the daily workplace, like your office, school, or university. In your spare time, you are not insured. Accidents insurance is a private insurance, so you have to take care about yourself. Why do you need an accident insurance? So if you get hurt in some kind of reason and a part of your body has a restriction for the rest of your life, the accident insurance will pay money. What is an accident? It's an event when a force suddenly acts on the body from the outside, for example, at a sports match. Usually, self-movement injuries are not insured, for example, bent over while hiking, but in good contracts, also self-movement is insured.
Okay. So that is really, really helpful for you guys to know. So let me just quickly repeat. There is an accident insurance that the employer or the facility where you are at, if you're a student or a pupil at school, when you are covered on the way to work and home and while you are there. However, all of the rest is not covered. And that's the important part, right? That most people are forgetting about, because that's when you need to think about getting an accident insurance. For example, when and they can inform themselves through talking to you, Kerstin, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so this sounds really, really important to know. And I also think about just what you said, the example with a sports match, for example. This is so typical because everybody has some sort of hobbies that they're doing after work, and then you're not covered. This is just simply very dangerous. Okay. All right. So now that we've covered this entire part about the insurances, so we had the liability insurance, the health insurance, and the accident insurance. Let's dive into one of the topics that you, when I had this poll, were most interested in, and that's about company benefits. I remember when I was still working in corporate. I mean, many of you guys already know that I have worked many years in HR, in different companies, in IT, and also in the automotive industry. And when I was working in HR, I was obviously recruiting people and I was supporting them on their first days when they entered the company. And one of my managers explained to me when I was working in the just simply the first onboarding of this new employee, that I was supposed to sell some sort of additional insurance for teeth, for glasses, for protection of the new employee. And that happened in a way that I would talk about that, and then the employee would just simply make a tick on a form, on an official form. But this new employee never had the time to think about it, and it was just basically executed, ticked, and then nobody ever thought or spoke about that again. And I always felt really uncomfortable when I had to do that, because first of all, I'm not that sort of salesperson. Then second of all, I didn't even know what I was selling to that person. I didn't have the background knowledge, what else is there and what else is possible. And then obviously tricking someone, it felt like tricking someone into an insurance that this person didn't even know about. But because it was just simply a tick, this person didn't have to think about that. So, and this is especially something that that Kerstin and I agree on, is something that you need to be aware of. So it's really a shame that there is not much awareness of those processes in these companies, and it's simply done and nobody's questioning it. But here's actually a great opportunity for you all to ask a financial advisor, right, Kerstin?
Right, yeah.
And what would you recommend in this situation?
So all what you told is, it's a really good point. So in Germany, companies are obliged by law to offer employer-funded pensions. So it's also known as betriebliche Altersvorsorge.
Ah,
Yeah.
right. Mm-hmm.
On top, some companies offers additional benefits like health insurance for hospitalities and protection for disability and death. It's what you talked about.
Yeah.
My tip is before you sign a document, ask the HR person for a few days to think about and get in contact with your financial advisor. He or she will let you know what kind of benefit fits to your personal situation. Keep in mind, if you sign a contract regarding pension and you leave your employer or Germany, the contract will be suspended and this status will not change until retirement. So if you still want to build up a cushion for a pension, we do have other options here in Germany.
Yeah, that sounds like a very good idea to actually think about these other options, and especially the point that you mentioned, that you need to think about your life plan. So are you planning on staying in Germany forever? Are you planning on staying in Germany just for a couple of years? There are so many different aspects that you just need to think about. So a financial advisor is here really, really helpful. And who better to ask than financial coach Kerstin? So basically, the aim of our interview today was to point out the essentials that you all need to be aware of, or that you all need to know when it comes to bank accounts, insurances, and company benefits. So we just gave you a broad overview today. And if you want to go more into detail, you can always obviously contact us and talk to Kerstin about that. And Kerstin and I agree that it's from the bottom of our hearts that we would like you to be or get acquainted with all of these topics. Yeah, don't hide from them. I know that at the start, when you're coming to Germany, like applying for a job looks like a huge mountain that you have to climb, but you don't have to do it on your own. You can do it with me. Then the next thing is getting started in Germany and starting the process of all of these bank accounts and insurances and company benefits. And it all also looks like a huge mountain that you have to climb. But again, you don't have to do it on your own. You can talk to Kerstin about that. Yeah, so you don't have to do this climbing of the mountain all on your own. But if you have any questions, feel free to contact Kerstin with regards to that. So Kerstin, can you let us know what your services include?
Sure. So I try to give a holistic approach as financial advisor. For me, this includes questions of daily life. The base of my work is trust, respect, and openness. And I'm only able to find the best solution when I know all aspects on which I can build up a financial roadmap. Often people ask me how much I charge for my service, so I shortly want to explain how I earn my money. I earn money with new contracts, that's for sure, but I also get money for managing existing contracts. And it's a commission-based system. This means for everyone interested, if you get in contact with me, my service does not cost extra fees. What I'm looking for are people who cherish financial advice and coaching, build up long-term relationships with people who are willing to have respectful conversation at eye level.
Oh, that sounds so brilliant. Thank you so much. So first of all, this idea of the roadmap, I think, is really, really interesting. And this is what people need to keep in mind. They need to know their own roadmap and where it's heading to, and then share it with you so that this trustworthy relationship between you as the financial advisor and the coachee can actually start to build up, right? And yeah, I really, really like your holistic approach, that you are thinking of all of the different aspects of life on this roadmap. And then obviously it's really great for you guys that it's commission based. Yeah, so there are no extra fees for you guys. So this is really, really helpful. So thank you so much, Kerstin, for being here today and sharing all of your valuable information with us, with the watchers, and it's been a real pleasure talking to you. Do you have any final personal advice for our audiences?
Yes, so Believe me, most people do not want to spend time on their financial issues. So my advice is to find a trustful financial advisor you can easily talk with about all topics and to let him or her do the work. It's a benefit for both. So you will have more time for things you really like, and you can be sure that the work is done by an expert who gets money for an active relationship.
Yeah. Sounds brilliant. Sounds perfect. So last but not least, where can people find you?
That's easy. So I do have a profile on Xing and LinkedIn, and I also do have an advisor homepage. So if you search at Google Kerstin Brunner and the company I work for is MLP, you will get directly to this page. And I also brought a one-pager with all my services and a short portrait of myself. And I would be happy if you, Lisa, would share it to interested people, or if you like, you can contact me as well, so we can share the document.
Yeah, that sounds really, really perfect. That's what I'm going to do. So, you know, you can find Kerstin on Xing, on LinkedIn, through Google, and all of the other search engines that are out there. But also keep an eye out for the one-pager that she has prepared and that I'm going to share with you underneath this video. So thank you so much, Kerstin. It was a real pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa. It was really nice. Thank you.